If I had to buy a tablet today, knowing what I know about specs, updates, and all the marketing noise, there are only a few worth my money. Because most tablets out there, they either underperform, overheat, or overpromise. So today I wanted to show you the absolute best tablets in every price range, and for both Apple and Android users. So you don't waste money on the wrong one. And at the end, I'll show you the best budget tablet of the year under $200, and even one under $100 that honestly surprised me, especially from a brand I never thought I'd recommend. All the tablets I mentioned are linked in the description if you want to check specs or pricing while you watch. Let's start simple, the tablets that give you the most value under $300. I had to include the tablets that you're probably thinking of right now, the Apple iPad 11th Gen 2025. Priced at $299, it's finally more than just a rebrand. The new A16 Bionic chip makes it one of the fastest tablets in this price range. The same silicon that powers the iPhone 14 Pro. Switching between Safari, Notes, and YouTube feels natural and doesn't choke the system anymore, and it barely warms up even during light gaming or editing. The 11-inch Liquid Retina display pushes 2360 by 1640 resolution at 500 nits brightness, which means it's sharp, color accurate, and bright enough to use outdoors, just not in direct sunlight. The True Tone and Apple's color accuracy makes everything just looks right, whether you're editing photos or watching a movie on a plane. Battery life lasts around 10 hours of real-world use. You get Touch ID, USB-C, and 6 GB of RAM with base storage starting at 128 GB, finally double what it used to be. It still doesn't support Apple Intelligence or the new Pencil Pro, but for a $299 device, that's not the target user anyway. If you just want a tablet that's reliable, fast, and built to last 5+ years of updates, this is the one to buy.
Now, if you don't care about brand logos and just want performance for the money, the Lenovo IdeaTab Pro at $280 is the best Android tablet for this budget. It's running the MediaTek Dimensity 8300 chip, which is fast enough while keeping power consumption low. It's paired with 8 GB of RAM and 128 GB UFS 3.1 storage. The screen is a 12.7-inch 3K LTPS LCD with strong contrast and great sharpness. It's not OLED, but it still looks incredible for this price. Battery life, about 12 hours thanks to a 10,200 mAh cell. It includes the stylus and fast charger in the box, something Apple still refuses to do. The build is full metal, feels solid, and it even supports microSD expansion, a huge win if you store photos or videos offline. Performance is snappy, multitasking holds steady, and once you clean out Lenovo's pre-installed apps, it's easily the best Android tablet under $300.
But if you have a bigger budget up to $600, then you're not just paying for performance, you're paying for balance. Power, portability, and battery life finally start to line up. The obvious option in this range is the Apple iPad Air M3 2025, which costs around $549. Apple's M3 chip is the same one used in their latest MacBook Air, which is ridiculous power for a tablet this thin. The difference from the M2 version isn't night and day, but it's noticeably smoother when juggling heavy apps like Lightroom or multitasking between multiple split views. The 10.9-inch Liquid Retina display hits 500 nits brightness with True Tone, P3 wide color, and full Apple Pencil Pro support. No ProMotion here, still locked at 60 Hz, but color accuracy and contrast are excellent for creative work. Battery life lasts around 10 to 11 hours of mixed use, and because it's Apple Silicon, you'll get software support for at least another 5 to 6 years. You've got 8 GB of RAM, 128 GB of storage baseline, and the same all-aluminum build Apple's known for. Lightweight, durable, zero flex. There's an optional 5G version, however, it's data only, which can be useful if you travel or work remotely and the Wi-Fi drops. For most people, this is the sweet spot. The iPad Air M3 gives you pro-level performance without the $1,000 price tag. It's fast, dependable, and future-proof.
If you want to stay in Android territory, the OnePlus Pad 3 at $600 is the real alternative. This thing is built around the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor, paired with 12 GB RAM and 256 GB storage, and it absolutely flies. The 12.1-inch 3K OLED display runs at 144 Hz, so scrolling feels buttery smooth. It's rated at 900 nits brightness with HDR10+ support and Dolby Vision.
Easily one of the best screens on any tablet this year. Battery life is equally impressive. Around 13 hours of use with 67-watt fast charging that gets you from 0 to 100% in about 50 minutes. It also supports the OnePlus magnetic keyboard and stylo pen, turning it into a legitimate productivity setup. There isn't a 5G version, it's Wi-Fi only, but it uses Wi-Fi 7, which is faster and more stable than what most routers even support yet. If you're tied to Apple's ecosystem, the iPad Air M3 is the natural choice. But if you value display quality, speed, and open software, the OnePlus Pad 3 gives you more for your money.
Now, if you've got closer to $1,000 to spend, this is where tablets stop being toys and start replacing laptops.
Before that though, if you've been getting some value out of this so far, hit that like button and give it a hype. It helps other guys find this before wasting cash on the wrong tablet. Okay, let's start with the best one for Apple users, the iPad Pro M 411-inch, sitting at around $944. This thing is a monster. Apple's new M4 chip is built on a 3nm process with up to 10 cores and a serious bump in GPU performance. It handles 4K video edits, 3D rendering, and multitasking without breaking a sweat. For context, this is the same chip Apple put in their new MacBook Pros, inside a device that weighs less than a pound. The new tandem OLED display is what sets it apart. Apple calls it Ultra Retina XDR. You're looking at 1000 nits full screen brightness, 1600 nits peak, which means you can use this outdoors in direct sunlight without issues. It comes with HDR support and ProMotion 120Hz refresh. Blacks are pure, contrast is off the charts, and the color precision is so good that even professionals are ditching external monitors for it.
Battery life averages 10 hours, and thanks to the M4's 3nm technology, it stays cool even under load. You get Thunderbolt 4, Face ID, Apple Pencil Pro with hover and squeeze gestures, and the new Magic Keyboard with a larger trackpad that genuinely feels like a MacBook. This is, hands down, the best performing tablet on the market, but it's not cheap. Once you add the keyboard and pencil, you're easily over $1,200. Now, for Android users, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S10 Plus is the one to buy at around $850. Samsung built this thing like a precision instrument. It runs the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy, paired with 12GB of RAM and 256GB storage, and it's smooth even with multiple windows, DeX desktop mode, and heavy multitasking. The 12.4-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X display is a stunner. 120Hz, HDR10 Plus, and up to 1200 nits brightness. Colors pop, blacks are deep, and paired with the Quad A KG speakers, it's one of the best media experiences you can get on a tablet.
You also get S Pen support in the box, no upsell, micro SD expansion, and a massive 10,000 mAh battery that lasts roughly 13 hours. The 45-watt fast charging gets you back to 100% in about 90 minutes. For connectivity, both models come with optional 5G versions. And unlike some earlier tablets, Samsung's implementation actually supports full SIM functionality, not just data. If you travel a lot or use your tablet for work calls, that's a big win. Moving on, if money's no object and you have $1,400 or more to spend on a tablet, then there are two tablets that were built for people who want the absolute best, even if logic says they don't need it. The first one is, you guessed it, the Apple iPad Pro M5 13-inch. This starts just under $1,000, but once you add the Pencil Pro and the new Magic Keyboard, you're closer to $1,500. And you know what? It's still one of the most impressive pieces of hardware you can buy.
The M5 chip is Apple's first tablet processor with dedicated neural cores for real-time AI workloads. That means faster image editing, smoother multitasking, and near zero latency when using Apple Pencil. The screen is the same tandem OLED Ultra Retina XDR we saw in the M4, 1000 nits sustained, 1600 peak, HDR 120Hz, and P3 color. But the 13-inch size gives you more real estate without sacrificing weight, weighing still under 1.3 pounds. It's also their thinnest tablet ever, just 5.1 millimeters thick, yet somehow keeps the same 10-hour battery life and full Thunderbolt 4 port.
And because this is Apple, you're guaranteed years of software support, now with on-device Apple Intelligence rolling out later this year. This is as close as it gets to a MacBook without actually being one. Now, for Android users, the tablet to buy is the Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra. If the iPad were a sports car, this thing would be a V8 truck. It's bigger, louder, and unapologetically powerful. The 14.6-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X display is massive, and it's gorgeous. You're getting 120Hz refresh rate for butter-smooth scrolling, 1200 nits of peak brightness, so it stays perfectly visible even outdoors, and HDR10 Plus for rich contrast that makes movies and games look alive. Under the hood, it's running the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy with 16 gigs of RAM, which means zero lag, even with heavy multitasking or 4K editing. You get up to 1 terabyte of storage plus a micro SD slot for expansion. The S Pen comes in the box, fully integrated with Samsung Notes, Lightroom, and DeX desktop mode. Plug in a keyboard and it transforms into a full workstation. Battery life is a beast, 12,000 milliamp hours, lasting up to 15 hours of video playback with 45-watt fast charging that gets you to 100% in about 80 minutes. You also get a 5G version that actually supports voice calls, not just data, which makes it great for fieldwork or business travel. It does have some trade-offs, which might be a real turn-off for some guys. Check the video in the top right corner for my full review of this tablet.
Alright, not everyone wants to spend over $1,000 on a tablet, and honestly, you don't need to. There are 2 budget tablets under $200, even one under $100 that perform way better than they have any right to. And one of them comes from a brand I never thought I'd recommend. Let's start with the one that honestly caught me off guard, the Samsung Galaxy Tab A9 Plus. It's around $180, and for the price, it's shockingly capable. You're getting an 11-inch LCD display that hits 90Hz, which is wild at this budget. It's bright enough for outdoor use, has decent stereo speakers, and doesn't feel cheap in the hand. Inside, it's running the Snapdragon 695, and while that's mid-range at best, it handles streaming, light gaming, note-taking, and multitasking without breaking a sweat. Battery life is solid, up to 13 hours of video playback plus 15-watt USB-C charging. And unlike most tablets in this range, Samsung gives you 4 years of security updates and 2 OS upgrades. That alone makes it a better investment than half the knockoff tablets on Amazon. If you want something reliable for travel, your kids, or just watching Netflix without caring about scratches, the A9 Plus is the one. Now, if you're on a really tight budget and your bank account's been giving you the silent treatment lately, this next one shouldn't even be as good as it is. The Amazon Fire HD 8, the 2024 version, comes in at around $90, and while it's not fast, it's surprisingly useful. The 8-inch HD display is decent for reading, streaming, and browsing. The interface is simple, battery life hits around 13 hours, and it's built like a tank. It's not meant for work, but for casual use, travel, or keeping the kids entertained, it just works. Sure, it's locked into Amazon's ecosystem, but if you're already using Prime Video, Kindle, or Alexa, it fits right in. It's the kind of tablet you buy, toss in a bag, and don't worry about. It's not trying to impress anyone, it just gets the job done. And sometimes that's exactly what you want in a tablet. But if you really want to see the tablets that'll make you question why anyone pays more, watch this next. These tablets should not be this cheap.